U.S. Senator Bob Menendez took aim at his Republican opponent Bob Hugin over his track record as a pharmaceutical CEO during a press conference at a Harrison doctor's office this morning.
For seniors who rely on Medicare, for the disabled and the poor who rely on Medicaid, to our veterans in the VA health system, Bob Hugin is a fraud. The same Bob Hugin who is trying to defraud New Jersey voters with his false advertising. I've met patients who have been waiting for years for more affordable generic versions of expensive prescription drugs like Revlimid to become available. And yet under Bob Hugin's watch, Celgene refused to provide samples to generic manufacturers looking to make cheaper alternatives for patients. Bob Hugin's efforts to game the system and prevent affordable generics from coming to the market was so outrageous that even President Trump, who Hugin supported, gave hundreds of thousands of dollars to, called it shameful. Trump's Food and Drug Administrator, the FDA administrator, cited Celgene as the worst company for stopping generic drugs from coming to the market. The last thing we need is a greedy drug company CEO like Bob Hugin who callously preyed on the sick. I think this is one of the important points. We've been talking about how he gouged cancer patients. The point is, he said, I raise the price because I can. Because I can. So if you're willing in the private sector to prey on the most vulnerable, who need a drug, in most cases to stay alive, what will you do with the other power of a United States Senator? So he preyed on the sick and suffering. Going to Washington, I don't think it's necessary to have him there to further stack the deck in favor of wealthy special interests. It's time for Congress's focus on building a more sustainable, more efficient, more affordable healthcare system for our families. And the people of New Jersey knows that when improving our healthcare system, there's only one party you can count on, and that's the Democratic Party.
At the Hispanic Day Parade, Bob Hugin made a comment along the lines of, this is a career politician that's done very little for New Jersey, and it's time for a change. So, I figured you would want to respond to that in some way.
Listen, the reality, I'm glad that Bob Hugin, for the first time in his life, showed up at the Hispanic Day Parade. I've been going for 40 years. I wish Bob Hugin spoke up against the abuses of the Trump administration's immigration policies. I wish Bob Hugin would speak up about the value and the contributions Hispanic Americans have made to our state and to our country when the president defiles them in generic terms. He's silent on all of that. Continues to be silent.
I'm John Heides with the Hudson County View, the eye of the community.